Hey guys, it's Popeye from Federal Jack. I'm just shooting a quick video with my cell phone here. I want to show you guys this video. I just didn't. I have to critique this video. I was watching this and I know Herman Cain's a scumbag, and I know he's former Fed. So, and I don't mean federal agent. I mean he worked formerly for the Federal Reserve. So I know he's a shill, and I've already said that they took Obama and Ron Paul and mixed them up together in a pot, and out came Herman Cain. And that's what the New World Order's recipe for combating Ron Paul and people standing up to the police state and everything else. So I gotta show you this. I'm gonna let it play, and then I'm gonna intermittently stop it. So here we go.
Presidential candidate Herman Cain. Now, you say you want less government, limited government. Yippee, I like hearing that, but you also want government to do things like ban abortions, gay marriage, have stricter immigration controls, and more, and that makes you a hypocrite, says this man, liberal columnist Ellis Hennigan. So he's a hypocrite?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm moved by some of the eloquence that Herman's able to express on getting government out of our lives and getting those tax rates down to zero. All that stuff sounds great. But I'm hoping tonight, guys, that I'm going to be able to convince Herman to come over to my way of thinking of open-mindedness on some of these other issues. I mean, look, why don't we start with the drug war, for instance, right? We know that this nation has had a huge failure in this war on some drugs are more available. We can't do anything really to stop them. Shouldn't the government get out of that and let adults make their own decisions about what we put into our own bodies? Come with me on that.
Come on. Here's why.
Okay.
There are unintended consequences if you open up illegal drugs.
There's no unintended consequences, you liar. The unintended consequences would be that the CIA wouldn't be able to import it themselves, and they wouldn't be able to make tons of money because it's illegal. We know drug prohibition doesn't work. How could you run for the office of the presidency and not know the consensus of opinion across the world is that the war on drugs hasn't worked for the past 40 years and that drugs should just be legalized? And that would end a lot of problems. The only people that don't want to see that are the people in charge. Everybody else, including police officers, regular local police, sheriffs, former Fed agents, all these former presidents from all around the world, from other countries, and world leaders and stuff. It's just ridiculous.
Simply because you can't fix the problem. Let's talk about how we fix the problem. First, get serious about restricting the amount of illegal drugs coming into this country. That's where you start.
Well, then you have to close the CIA.
40 years, and there's more of it than there's ever been. Shouldn't John get to decide whether he wants to get high?
He already does. So why does he need a new law to decide if he wants to get high? I'm simply saying I refuse to accept defeat by simply legalizing it. Okay. I don't think that is the right way to do it. Now,
that was very telling what he just said. I simply do not choose to accept defeat by legalizing it. Defeat. This guy, and then there's 4 videos, and I'm not, YouTube wouldn't give me, I don't have unlimited upload time, or else I'd go through all 4 and critique them. I'll just do this one, but you can watch the others, and you'll see he constantly refers to everything with this attitude of winning. When on another one, Stossel asks him about leaving Afghanistan, and he starts. Don't get me wrong when I say this. I'm not backing Obama. He starts bad-mouthing Obama. He's wrong for trying to pull troops out. Obama's not pulling enough troops out. We shouldn't be in there. This guy's talking about putting more troops in there. And that we need to have a surge of troops to win. I will not accept defeat. Are you kidding me? Anybody with half a brain realizes, first of all, that Afghanistan is a graveyard of empires, and this dickhead is sitting there saying, I will not accept defeat. And same thing here with the war on drugs. I will not accept defeat just by legalizing it. So how have you been defeated, Herman Cain? How have you been defeated? What we defeated was a pointless war for 40 years, and it wouldn't have been defeated. It just would have been ended. But see, this guy's not about that. So he's not really about liberties and freedom, is he? Or about small government. No, he's not.
Let's go back to the fundamental language of the Declaration of Independence. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you try to distort the intent, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other people, that's when you get in trouble. Okay. And are you saying that legalizing drugs allows people to pursue happiness?
Here's what I am saying.
Now, hold on. I got a real big problem with that, because this jerk-off just sat here and said on the air, and he's trying to convince all these listeners and people watching on TV that the Constitution was against drugs and that the Founding Fathers, he's trying to put the idea in your head that the Founding Fathers never, ever, 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 ever would have let anybody smoke weed. That's the idea he's trying to put in your head. He doesn't have to say it outright. That's exactly what he's doing by invoking the Constitution. Because the Constitution, you know, people that are for freedom, and especially people that are for ending the drug war, constantly evoke the Constitution. So now they throw it back in your face and say, well, the Constitution, you know, the Constitution this, the Constitution that. First of all, our Founding Fathers, like Jefferson, wrote about in his own diaries, he grew cannabis. Not marijuana, because that's just a Mexican slang term that was picked up. Cannabis. He grew hemp, and he grew cannabis. He smoked it. He smoked it for migraines, for medical reasons. So one of our Founding Fathers and one of the very first few presidents we had in this country smoked cannabis for medical reasons, and our current White House says that there's no medicinal value to it whatsoever, and that's what I think it was the DEA came out and said it the other day. Ridiculous.
I'm saying that you have no idea what every one of those the millions and millions of Americans, how they want to judge those decisions. If they want to be involved in a gay relationship, if they want to smoke a marijuana cigarette, if they want to patronize a woman of the evening, why should Herman Cain or Ellis Hennigan or John Stossel know better than they do? Don't you want to be consistent to the point of saying, I trust Americans, I trust mature and responsible people to make these judgments for themselves?
And I agree with that. So let's take your idea.
I'll write your speeches on this.
Let's take your idea to the extreme. Do you want to just throw out the Constitution?
No, of course not.
And all of the laws?
No, of course
That's
not.
what you're suggesting.
No, I'm saying apply those
Now,
laws.
you see there's only like 2 people applauding in the audience, okay? The one that, this one right here, I gotta point this out. This one right here in the corner, this chick. Now, we all know that these audiences are packed with people that they do, you know, they poll, they check before. Anyway, this chick asks a question about Fidel Castro to Herman Cain in one of the other videos and says, how would you deal with, you know, what, I don't remember exactly what but pretty much like the dictatorship that is Cuba and everything else, acting like Cuba is going to attack us anytime soon because, like, they can, you know, let's get real, they can't. And instead of saying, well, you know, I would just get rid of stupid sanctions that are for, you know, years old and don't work and everything else. What does he say? Oh, no, I would probably, you know, update the sanctions and everything else. But it's important that I show that, because this chick's one of the loudest people clapping. No one else in here is clapping. Okay, I'm willing to bet a lot of these people in here think what he's saying is BS and, you know, he's full of shit. But the ones that are clapping are like this schmuck here, who's probably works for Fox News or one of these political parties, and this obvious plant over here.
No, I'm saying apply those laws intelligently with an effort to broaden, not contract liberty.
And by the way, how I know I kind of got off when I was showing you that off the subject, but it just throw out the Constitution and all the laws. No, we actually want to restore the Constitution, Herman. Okay, your little Federal Reserve scumbag friends and the New World Order want to throw out and destroy the Constitution. And you know what's up. You know the deal, you scumbag. I'm calling you out because I see through your bullshit.
One of our founding fathers put it best. I don't recall who it was.
Of course you don't.
If men were angels, we wouldn't need government. Since they're not angels, that's why we need the Constitution, Alex.
Okay. Can government make men angels?
No. No.
So why do you support these laws?
The role of government, in my view, is to maintain an equal, balanced playing field for the citizens and for our society, not to throw it out of balance.
Or a quickie on...
Are you kidding me? The role of government, that's not what the role of government is at all. The role of government's job, its sole job, is to ensure the protection of our rights. That is it. Government's job is not to wipe your ass, give you food stamps, and don't get me wrong, I lived off food stamps for a year, but I refuse to do it anymore. So, but guess what? I had to. I was practically living out in the street, and I had to eat, and I had no other way to eat at the time. So, and that was because of the VA medical system and, you know, my injuries sustained when I was in the military. Now things are a little bit different because I was able to get some light brought onto the subject. Anyway, I'm digressing. This guy's just out of control, you know, and I'm running out of time here, so I want to wrap this up. But, I mean, guys, Herman Cain is just out of control. Please don't buy into this guy's bullshit, okay? He doesn't care about liberty. He doesn't care about freedoms. He doesn't care about, you know, ending the Federal Reserve. And the reason I showed this one rather than all the others is because a lot of people, even if they're not plugged into any of the other stuff, they're plugged into the war on drugs. So, you know, by me tearing this apart and showing just some of my views and calling him out on certain things and pointing things out, you can kind of put on, you know, once you look at things from my perspective, now maybe you can put on, you know, the goggles and look through it, you know, look at the other videos, the other 3 on Mox's channel through, you know, Popeye's goggles. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to see through this guy's shit if you haven't already. I'm assuming most people see through this guy's bullshit. Most of the comments on his videos are, you know, Herman Cain's a lying sack of shit and everything else. I wouldn't feel comfortable having anybody that worked for the Federal Reserve System as my president. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, guys.